Thank you. It's our pleasure to welcome you to the Edward A. Crown Scholarship Dinner. It is exciting for us to be celebrating such a milestone tonight and honoring our good friends and classmates, Rabbi Leonard and Margaret. 75 years ago, a group of dedicated women and men came together to make a difference in the lives of the Chicago community. They not only founded our school, but fostered 3 generations of Jewish leaders in business, government, science, art, and of course, the Jewish community. Tonight, we stand on the shoulders of our founders, and the responsibility that each of us bears is as great, if not greater, than it was in 1942. Your support and participation in this evening allows us to allocate crucial dollars to the scholarship fund so that every child can experience the academy. Thank you to our Society of Patron members who are listed in the program for their partnership in making this event a success. Thank you to our 75th anniversary chairman, Mr. Sheil Bellows and Mr. Eric Wagner, our honorary chairpeople, Mr. Lester Crown, Dr. Stephen Nasser, and Dr. Richard Joel. Additionally, we'd like to thank Tammy Sugar, the development chair, and our fellow Society of Patron co-chairs, Daniela and Jack Blicksberg, Barbara and George Haynes, and Aviva and James Matanky, and the entire dinner tribute committee. We would also like to recognize at this time our past presidents of Ida Crown who are in attendance this evening, Dr. Jeffrey Bressman, Dr. David Dapkin, Michelle Friedman, Rosie Lennon, Nate Lichtenstein, Martin Yasiansky, Sue Stein, David Weinstock, and George Haynes.
We pay special tribute this evening to the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Chicago and to their leadership, Dr. Stephen Nasser. He's not only a good friend to the Academy, but who has shaped our community and created the finest and most successful federation in North America. In addition, we pay tribute to Academy alumni Deborah Silverman and Sylvia Feifel. We also thank Jeffrey Cohn, who could not be here this evening, and was instrumental in our building campaign and continues to guide and advise us. This year, the Jewish United Fund, Jewish Federation allocation to Ida Crown was $437,601. And the Jewish Day School Guarantee Trust added $87,817. All of which goes to provide scholarships for our students. Through the Federation's REACH program, we have expanded our support for students with learning differences. We urge everyone to continue to support the JUF's annual campaign, as it provides critical allocations for Jewish education and social services, which are in great demand today in both our community, Israel, and worldwide Jewry. We now invite everyone to please rise for the singing of the Star Spangled Banner and Hatikva, led by the ICJA band. There are few people who have had a greater impact on our community than Mr. Lester Crown. Mr. Crown is not only a leader in the world community, but is also a dear friend of our school, a champion of Jewish education, and the grandson of the school's namesake, Mrs. Ida Crown. We are truly honored that on the 75th anniversary of our school, Mr. Crown has taken time from his busy schedule to grace us with his presence. We thank him and the entire Crown and Goodman family for believing in us and helping us fulfill our dreams. It is now our pleasure to invite Mr. Crown to the dais to share a few words with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege and a pleasure to join in celebrating the Academy's 75th anniversary, and especially one that honors Margaret and Leonard Matanky. Rabbi Matanky's ability, his dedication, his perseverance, and his love for Jewish education is one of the primary reasons that the Academy is one of the finest modern Jewish Orthodox schools in the country. As you know, it supplies a wonderful Jewish education together with a fine secular education, and in addition, that it has a number of athletic trophies to prove its all-around excellence. Much of this is due to Lenny's leadership. He is really an ever-ready buddy, and his enthusiasm is contagious, as all of you know. He is one of the best cheerleaders that I've ever known, and it's a pleasure to be able to work with him. You know, my grandparents came to this country without a nickel in their pockets. My dad actually went only to 8th grade, and he grew up together with his family a couple of steps below the poverty level. Dad did go to 8th grade, and Dr. Brown actually became a doctor. But despite the bias and the numerous obstacles that existed, when they were growing up and as they got into business, they were able to take advantage of the freedom that this country allowed. Because of their ability, their very hard work, and their ingenuity, they succeeded. My uncle, Dr. Crown, felt really very, very strongly that superior Jewish education was essential for Jewish continuity. So he and my dad and my other uncle supported Jewish education as soon as they were able to do so. Hence, the naming of this fine institution for my grandmother, Heidi Crown. All of you, and that truths just everybody in this room, has reason to be very, very proud of what you have created. This has always been a fine school, but it finally has the facilities that the school and the kids deserve. What a pleasure it is to walk through this whole building. Ed would be thrilled to see the new school, but he would be even more thrilled to know of its academic accomplishments both year in and year out. And he would agree with all of us here that much of that is due to the leadership of Rabbi Matanky. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to be part of this celebration. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Mr. Crown. And now please direct your attention to the screen.
Ida Crown set the stage for the rest of my life.
I loved it. It was a family.
Can't really think of a more positive time in my life.
The Academy gave us a sense of vision.
You really felt the presence of everybody who was there before you.
These were the two loves of my life, my wife and children, and the Academy.
Every season, every memory made, all the dreaming led us here today. Can you see it? We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on. We got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come.
When I started the Academy, it was very small. I think there were about 35 kids altogether.
We had a class of 60. We had many of the same kinds of values. It was a wonderful, nurturing environment.
I think the Academy's impact has been to push me, to challenge me.
There was a sense of people looking to succeed,
people who felt the need to give back to the community.
We never saw a conflict between Torah and Madai. There just hadn't been any compromise.
What they're learning in my classroom is something that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives.
We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on. We got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to It's like running through an open door. It's like finding what you're looking for. We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on. We got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to
The Academy is a special place. It's a place of learning. It's a place for Torah. It's a place of community. It's a place which we can all call home.
What a great video, and what a great evening. My name is Eric Rothner, and I am a member of the Academy class of 1961. That's a long time ago. The father of Academy alumni, and please God soon, the grandfather of another generation of Academy students. Together with my good friend and fellow alum, Shale Bellows, and he graduated in '57, by the way. It has been my honor to co-chair all of the 75th anniversary events this year. Combined, more than 1,000 people attended these events here and in Israel. And only to be capped off by tonight's glorious event, the largest Academy dinner ever. Tonight, I stand here not only in tribute to our honorees, Rabbi Lenny and Margaret Matanky, but also to announce a very exciting initiative to cap our 75th anniversary celebration. In tribute to the Matankys and in honor of the 75 years of Academy teachers, students, and friends, we will be launching, the truth is we have launched, $1 million endowment campaign. Together with our faithful partners at JUF and their Create, a Jewish Legacy project, we will be turning to many of you to help us with this commitment payable over 4 years. So far, we have raised, and we just started, $250,000. We're 1/4 of the way there. And we hope, with your support and faith in our school, to reach and perhaps surpass our goal. Were it not for this school, I, my brothers, my sisters, my children would not be who they are today. And the same is true for so many families of you in this room. We should all be proud of the Academy, very proud of the Academy, and all that it has accomplished, and we should show our gratitude by supporting our schools. I look forward to speaking with many of you to help us make sure the same will be true for generations to come. Thank you very much.
I don't know about any of you, but after seeing that video and being in this unbelievable gym, I want to go back to high school. Each year at our school dinner, we are pleased to announce a very special award to our teachers in school, established by Scott Shea, a member of the class of 1975. This award enables our teachers to create new and exciting programs. This year, we are pleased to announce that the George Shea Endowment for Academic Excellence will award a $40,000 grant to the Academy to create an emergency training medical course for seniors and faculty members. We thank Dr. Cahan, Chicago Etzella, and Mr. Harry Gendler for conceiving and developing this course. This is a great opportunity for our students. And now, dinner will be served, and we ask everyone to remain in their seats so the wonderful wait staff can easily navigate between the tables.
2 months ago, I spent time in the hotel.
Rabbi Matanky, I will be in your office tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for my entrance interview. Rabbi Matanky, pay attention. Dr. Stephen B. Nassiter is a Jewish community leader of national and international renown who has served as president of the Jewish United Fund Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Chicago for 28 years. Dr. Nassiter is the fourth person in the 106-year history of Chicago's Jewish Federation to serve as its chief executive officer. Identified annually by the Forward newspaper as one of the top 50 international Jewish leaders, he has succeeded in raising more than $5 billion for our community here and abroad. But even more importantly, Dr. Nassiter has always been the first to speak up for what is right, the first to do what needs to be done, and the first to commit community resources to come to the rescue of Jews abroad. Under his leadership, Chicago has set the agenda for the Jewish world. We are so honored to have you with us here tonight, and it is our pleasure to invite you to the dais to share a few words with us.
George, thank you very much for that really lovely introduction. By the way, it's 38 years, but who's counting? As many of you know, I'm not a stranger to the Ida Crown Jewish Academy. I have enjoyed really a 47-year professional connection to the Academy, and much is because the Academy is a gateway to the entire Jewish community. And I also, along with Lester Crown and Lenny Matanky and so many others in this room, we're very much involved in helping to make a new home for ICJA. And I must confess that I felt every time I walked through that door or have a chance to speak with any of the Academy's remarkable students. As some of you also know, among my many visits here include a certain annual basketball game about which my friend Lenny Matanky and I have a lot riding on. You see, your Academy Dean and your Federation Executive are gamblers. The bet on each game is a lunch with the loser paying. And for me, when I win, I win. And even when I lose, I win, as I enjoy those games and lunches and treasure our friendship. So when last September, Rabbi Matanky approached me to be one of the honorary chair people for this event, I felt privileged to be asked and delighted to accept. I remember when Lenny asked me he didn't talk about Margaret and him being honored. He said that the most important thing about this dinner is to pay tribute to the Ida Crown Jewish Academy and the contribution that is made to the Orthodox community and to the Jewish community at large. That simple comment expresses what is so very inspiring and charming about Lenny. For him, it always was, always is, and always will be all about his beloved Ida Crown Jewish Academy. He was a student at the Academy, he was a teacher in the Academy, has become dean of the Academy, and since his children attended the Academy, he loves the Academy like he loves his family. It was his vision that has brought the Academy into a new era. This new era is expressed in this remarkably designed new home. This new era is reflected in Lenny's vision for excellence in math and science, literary arts, and of course technology. And we saw that. There was a photo that we took an hour ago, and somehow, through the magic of technology, it was on the screen. I'm impressed by those kinds of things, because I have no idea how they do that. Lenny's vision is expressed in a passionate commitment to the study of Torah in all of its facets, customized for the needs of a diverse student body. Under his direction, ICJA has become much more than a school. It's a central institution within the Chicago Jewish community. The Academy is a place where Jewish students and their parents from so many different places in the Jewish community can all come together. The Academy synthesizes the best of classic Torah and contemporary Western culture. Rabbi Matanky has been a leader and teacher in the professional development of teachers and Jewish educational professionals. His consultation is sought throughout the United States and Europe and Israel. The alumni that the Ida Crown Jewish Academy has produced are leaders throughout America's Jewish community and in Israel as well. The vision of Rabbi Banquet is expressed beyond the walls of the Ida Crown Academy. From his position at the Ida Crown Academy, which he has held since 1996, Lenny has played a remarkable role in working with the Jewish Federation and the larger community. He has, over the past several decades, helped to build and nurture one of the finest relationships in America between the Orthodox community and this federation. In that relationship, he has made a vital contribution to the Chicago Jewish community. His tireless commitment to the Jewish people and to Israel has moved him into positions of national and international leadership. He has done our community proud and brought much benefit to the national American Jewish community by serving as the president of the Rabbinical Council of America, in which he continues to play a major leadership role, and through his membership on the Conference of Presidents of Major Jewish Organizations. In these very complicated and complex times, Rabbi Matanky has become a voice of common sense, goodness, and unity for the Jewish people. And were that not enough, Lenny Matanky somehow finds the strength and wisdom to serve as the spiritual leader at KINS, an institution with its own deep historic ties to community and to Israel. He also has provided important leadership over many years to the Chicago Rabbinical Council. In his capacity as chair of JUF's Rabbinic Advisory Committee, he has led many JUF rabbinic missions, which has brought the rabbis of all the various synagogue denominations together to learn more and more about Federation's work in Europe and in Israel, and equally important, to learn about each other. Those trips have done much to provide Federation the large tent we need to keep our community united, while respectful of differences. In just a few days, Margaret and Lenny will be sitting down at their Seder table to celebrate with their children and grandchildren. It is not just in the home that Margaret has been teaching our Jewish community. She and Lenny are both graduates of the Academy class of 1976. Like Lenny, she grew up in a strong religious Zionist home and was raised up in Bnei Akiva as one of its leaders. Margaret has been teaching at the Ida Crown Hebrew Day School since 1988. Her incredible passion for Jewish education and Jewish learning, coupled with her immense patience, has made her one of the strong leaders of Jewish education in our community. Her leadership is not limited to what is public and known. She quietly tutors children throughout the community and has her quiet deeds of chesed, of caring for people in need, is legendary. It is all this that Margaret and Lenny bring to their decades of service to our Chicago Jewish community. Let me close with a word of Torah. This coming Shabbat is Shabbat HaGadol. As you all know, it ushers in the season of Pesach. It is the Shabbat on which rabbis begin to prepare their communities for the holiday. What better season in which to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Ida Crown Jewish Academy? Lenny and Margaret Matanky than this season in the foundation of Jewish education. No other mitzvah carries with it the emphasis over and over again in the Torah, and you shall give witness to your children that because of this you were taken out of slavery into Egypt. The Passover Seder is all about the Jewish people teaching its children from generation to generation. And that's what this great institution has done for 75 years in a most exemplary way. And our honorees, Rabbi Lenny Matanky and Margaret Matanky, are the living embodiment of all that this wonderful school hopes for in its students. Among all the achievements both have been cited for, when you ask them, they will tell you that their most important achievement, most proud to be known as Academy graduates. Kol hakavod to both of you, and may Hashem grant you many more years of health and service to the Jewish people.
Thank you, Dr. Nassiter, and please direct your attention to the screen.
The Jewish community is blessed with many people who take positions of responsibility, who always do their best and who achieve good things. We truly are blessed. But every once in a while you come across an individual or a couple who stand head and shoulders above the rest.
My earliest recollections of the Academy was when the building on Pratt was still under construction. My family and I, we moved on Pratt about a block and a half away in 1966. And my friends and I used to play on the construction site. Margaret's father was a student at the Academy on the Old West Side. And so she was second generation. Our children were third generation. And please God, soon our grandchildren will be fourth generation Academy students.
He was a regular student and he was active, not only in school, but also in campsite. That, by the way, that's why he met Margaret. And he's lucky that he married her. Together.
We first met each other in 5th or 6th grade.
We
grew up together because we were both in the same shape. We also ended up being Matanky together. And in those days, we used to spend a lot of time together. As opposed to now.
Matanky was in my first class 46 years old. Every time that he comes into my room to say hello or whatever, the kids always ask after he leaves, so what kind of student is Rabbi Matanky? And of course, I give that clear answer, and he was an excellent student. And so you should know truly he was an excellent student. I'm a proud Academy alum. And the teachers that I had at the Academy, they were transformative. They were people that we admired. People who taught us the most important lessons of life. That's what the Academy was all about, and that's what the Academy is still.
One of the things that the students learn at the Academy is how to be a committed Jew in a modern society. Not only do they learn how to be a committed Jew, but they also learn how to give back to the community.
When I was a student, there was a secretary at the Academy. And she would tell me that one day I would be principal of the Academy. I actually fell into the job a little bit backwards. I started teaching at the academy in 1981. And one year they needed someone to fill in. And so I agreed to be interim principal. And then, a couple of years down the road, George Haynes came to me and said, how about if we call you Dean instead of interim? Nobody knows what that means anyways. Nobody knows what that means anyways. One of the most exciting things about working with the faculty and the lay leadership of the academy is that we've always viewed this job as something that transforms lives, that will make a difference in this world. When I stepped into this role, I never would have imagined that we would be providing Jewish education combined with such an extraordinary general education for our students. We never imagined it then, but today we see the reality. Our students have opportunities that we never dreamed we would be able to offer.
Rabbi Matanky is one of the most innovative and creative people that we've had.
As a student, you just don't realize how much hard work and dedication goes into being part of the scenes. But as a teacher, you start to see your principal as a leader, you start to see all of the planning that goes into meet the growing demands of students in a changing world.
I just remember the whole interview process of coming into the academy. The kids shy. He made everybody feel comfortable. The kids shy. There was a back and forth, like they were both in the base medrash, just going on one-on-one.
Being in class with Rabbi Matanky as my teacher. It was really a class that opened up my eyes to having a hands-on learning experience.
He has high expectations and he wants us to go far and he wants us to push ourselves and he wants ourselves. I found out that he really did care about all of the students and now I have a relationship with him beyond the He always would tell us by note at 10 o'clock on most girls are smart. You can do it, I believe in you, and that was always really inspiring. You can do it, I believe in you, and that was always really inspiring. But also, as a personal role model, someone who's so entrenched in the community, so invested in the community.
Always impressed me the most about Rabbi Matanky is how he can wear so many hats so well. Always doing happy with a smile, and frankly, I don't think he sleeps at night.
My dad is the busiest person I know. I'm not sure how he gets everything done in a day. I think there's more than 24 hours in a day with him. Even the day I was born, my mom had a meeting morning, and then that day my dad straight from the hospital to the academy to name me at the academy.
He's someone who also is kind of a connector between different communities in Chicago, whether it be the modern Orthodox community, the more right-wing Orthodox community. He's been that somewhat bridge, the more right-wing Orthodox community. He's been that somewhat bridge.
You could talk about Kins and when he was the head of the CLC, and principal of the school, and you see the assistant superintendent of the ATT, and I think it's superintendent of the ATT, that he pursued his vision.
My father was always involved in dozens of organizations as a kid, and just what he did made it work. Looking back now, I appreciate it that much more. How much put into each organization, and how much work with people in creating relationships, good relationships with people.
I'm always so amazingly impressed how Rabbi Matanky does, and able to do the things that he does. The family, that credit, I think, goes to Margaret. That credit, goes to Margaret. She is a total asset.
Dad stands out more in the front lines, but very naturally it falls on my mom to pull it all together. Very naturally it falls on my mom to pull it all together.
Constantly cutting and preparing and gluing and shopping for different activities that Ari Crown, Ari Kids. She's constantly working on different communal events.
Quote from Harry Truman is what comes to my mind. It's amazing what a person could accomplish if they don't care who gets the credit.
She did all of the programming at Ari Crown, and she did phenomenal things. The kids were so engaged. She did phenomenal things. The kids were so engaged.
From a single child in the hallway to an entire classroom, she is, I believe, Ari Crown's secret weapon.
I always wanted to be a teacher because enjoy helping kids learn. And if they enjoy learning, then it will be something that they'll continue to enjoy in the future. With everything that they've learned, I hope that they'll be able to give to their communities at large and play a part in the future of the Jewish people.
A leader in anything is somebody that has the ability to lead, the knowledge, and more than anything else, the passion. And Lenny's just a marvelous, marvelous definition and an example of a real leader. I just wish we had more of them.
Rabbi Matanky is a great, great rabbi, but an outstanding human being. Somebody who combines so many skills, who can see the forest and yet care for the individual trees, who can build a community and yet care for every member of it. That is somebody very, very rare indeed.
It seems to be, you know, if Rabbi Matanky was only a fabulous dean at the academy, Dayenu, if only he was the dean and the congregational rabbi at KINS, Dayenu, if he was both of those and the former president of the Rabbinical Council of America, Dayenu, and I can go on and on and on. And that's unique. It takes great talent, and it also takes extraordinary commitment and sacrifice.
The wonderful thing about Lenny is that he's Lenny. He is real, he is open, he cares, he sees life as a gift. And yet, you can't speak to Rabbi Matanky without hearing very quickly, Margaret and I. And it's no accident. It's the sense that when we're very lucky, yin and yang come together and achieve the kind of wholeness that they're comfortable spreading to the world.
I really feel like I've played a very small part in what's happened at the Academy for the last 36 years. But I do have to say that I'm very proud of my husband for everything that he's done for the Academy in the last 36 years.
And Margaret, I have to disagree with you, because if it wasn't for all that you did, taking control of our family at home and pushing me when I needed to be pushed, I wouldn't have achieved what I did, and the Academy wouldn't be what it is today. To be the Dean of the Academy is an honor, but along the way I've been so very fortunate to work alongside an extraordinary group of professionals, my administration, my faculty, the Associated Talmud Torahs, the Federation, and especially Dr. Nassiter, the Crown family, Lester Crown, Mr. Corky Goodman, and of course, all of the talented lay leadership that have brought us to the 75th anniversary. I've spoken often about the Academy being a place we call home, and it's an honor to be able to continue that home in all of its new configurations and all of its new dreams, but to stay true to those messages I learned from Rabbi Rappaport and my teachers, Margaret learned from Rabbi Goodman and her teachers, and that we continue to cherish every day of our lives.
The last time I think my siblings and I were all here in this gym together was at the dedication for this building. I'm pretty sure that at that event my father shed a lot more tears of joy than at any of my bar mitzvahs, weddings, or birth of his grandchildren. But in all seriousness, I want to share a story that my father has shared with me on a few occasions. When Elder Mayor Richard Daley was elected as mayor of Chicago, he decided to place his unqualified son in a major position in the Chicago government. Mayor Daley was immediately accused of nepotism. Mayor Daley's response was simple. If I can't be counted on to help and be there for my own family, then how could I possibly be counted on to help and be there for the Chicago community? And I think this story really epitomizes what makes my parents so special, that their commitment to community has never come at the expense of their commitment to family. I, my siblings, and their children can always count on our parents to be there for us. But what I think makes my parents truly unique is that at the same time, my parents' commitment to their family has never come at the expense of their commitment to their community. And I think this is for a very simple reason. My parents' approach and philosophy to raising their children and the values they have instilled in us and their grandchildren are the same values they instilled into the Chicago and Academy community. The importance of being good, kind people who are committed to doing what's right, and the importance of being contributing members of the Jewish community. Mazel tov to my parents, and I look forward to many more years of your inspiring leadership and commitment and love to our family. Thank you.
It's now our privilege to call on our parents, Rabbi Leonard and Margaret Matanky, to accept this award. Rabbi Leonard and Margaret Matanky Crown Leadership Award, Edward Lee Crown Scholarship Dinner at the Crown Jewish Academy, celebrating 75 years of ICJA.
I don't think we're on the program. I'm just saying no. We're going to crush it anyway. So David and I had the pleasure and honor to work very closely with Rabbi Matanky as co-chairs of the capital campaign to build this beautiful building. As co-chairs, we were tasked with bringing to reality something that for a long time seemed like just an impossible dream. But it was also a task of love, made much easier by working with talented, committed, and visionary people like Rabbi Matanky. He not only was the driving force behind this project, but also led the way bringing together this community, the Jewish Federation of Chicago, the Crown Goodman family, the Esformas family, and all the other generous supporters that make this impossible dream come to fruition. As we prepare for this evening, in which we honor Rabbi Leonard and Margaret Matanky for all their endless effort for this community, many people, including Deva Swelling, Janet Best, and Jane Best, and the village of Skokie, look for a way to memorialize their achievements. We all asked ourselves, what can we give the Matankys that they don't already have? So we looked around the city of Chicago, and we asked ourselves, what do David Ben-Gurion, Raoul Wallenberg, Golda Meir, and the Matankys have in common? Great question. So we asked Michael Lorge, corporate counsel of the village of Skokie, and his answer was, and I quote, "It has been said that the mark of great people is not so much where they stand, but in what direction they are moving. We know and are in awe of the directions in which Rabbi Matanky and Margaret Matanky are moving, inspiring through thought and teaching, raising a family committed to improving the Jewish people and the world around them, and setting goals to make us all better. To remind us that they are all trailblazers to be emulated, that they offer a vision which puts us on the road to success, and that we must all find our way for the good of the family and community. I'm proud to present this gift to designate the private road that leads to the doors of the Academy as blessings as we come and go down the path created by Rabbi Leonard and Margaret Matanky. It is our honor to give you this street sign, designate the road into the Academy, the Matanky Way. May it serve as an inspiration to generations of students that will pass on their way into the Academy.
If I ever get a screen, it's going to be excellent. See how I can throw those around.
Margaret and I are truly overwhelmed by this evening's outpouring of support and friendship. We're especially honored.
The Jewish community is blessed with...
Oh, we're still blessed also. I guess we're honored and blessed. But we're especially honored by the presence of Lester Crown, who is not only, as we all know, the grandson of Ida Crown, but a true leader of world Jewry and the benefactor of so much that is good and meaningful in this world. And by our good friend, Dr. Steve Nassiter, whose vision and talent has transformed our community. And of course, by our parents, Mrs. Trudy Matanky and Dr. Oscar and Bernice Novick, who have taught us by example what it means to work hard, serve others, and cherish our families. We're grateful that our children and our older grandchildren are here this evening, and we're honored by all of you, by our colleagues who day in and day out dedicate their lives to the Academy, and by our lay leadership, from George Haynes, who was my first board chair, and whose insight led to millions in savings when we built this building, and to our current president, Dr. Amy Kesar, and to every lay leader in between. And of course, we thank all of the alumni, family, and friends who are here to support the Academy. May God grant each of you the reward you so richly deserve, health, happiness, and hatzlachat chol maaseh yadechem, and success in everything you do. The story is told of a person who arrives at the gates of heaven, only to be told by God, "I'm sorry, I don't see your name written in the book." Shocked, he asked God, "But it must be a mistake. Is your book up to date?" Said God, "I'm pretty sure it is. I get a new download every 10 minutes. Why do you ask?" "Well, I'm embarrassed to admit it," said the person, "but I wasn't always the most faithful of servants. In fact, it wasn't until my death was imminent that I cried out to you, O God, so that my name may not have made it yet onto your copy of the record. So let's wait here a few minutes for the next update," said God. "But in the meantime, can you tell me something, a really good deed that you did in your lifetime?" The person thought for a moment and said, "Well, there was this one time when I saw a group of gang members harassing a young girl. I don't know what got into me, but I ran up to the gang leader. He must have been about 6'4", 250 pounds, wearing a studded leather jacket, and I told him, 'Stop it, or else.' He looked down at me and told me to get lost or I'd be next. But I punched him really hard, and I yelled at him, 'Leave her alone. Go home before I teach you a lesson.'" "Wow," said God. "When did that happen?"
10 minutes ago.
"Oh, about 3 minutes ago." 36 years ago, I started working at the Academy just 5 years after I had graduated. A proud member of the class of '76, 3 tables of whom are here tonight. And yet, standing here this evening together with Margaret, it seems like just 3 minutes ago that Rabbi Rappaport was interviewing me as an incoming freshman. And just a couple of minutes ago, that Rabbi Blanchard was interviewing me to teach at the Academy. And just like a minute or so ago, that Rabbi Myers and I were talking as I was about to step in on an interim basis to fill his shoes back in '95. It really does seem just like yesterday, and yet I know it wasn't, because so much has happened. From this extraordinary new campus to the exceptional range of academic programs we offer, from beginning Hebrew and through advanced Talmud, 12 AP courses, 4 STEM courses, including a makerspace, the YU Kollel, the student social, emotional, and educational support that we offer, the 10 interscholastic teams, and the extracurricular opportunities now available. So much has happened, and our students have been so successful because we, Margaret and I, have been fortunate to work alongside an exceptional team of professionals. And therefore, this evening I would ask if the members of the administration of the Academy please rise to accept our thanks. Mr. Harris, Dr. Kahan, Rabbi Fliegelman, Mrs. Swelling, Mrs. Best, Mr. London, Mrs. Margolin, Mr. Zagaris, Mrs. Holland, and our Rosh Kollel, Rabbi Graham. Ask all of the Ida Crown Jewish Academy staff and teachers to also please rise. And still stay standing for one more minute as I ask that all of Margaret's colleagues, teachers and administration at Ida Crown Hebrew Day School, and especially its administration, please rise. And would the professional leadership of the Associated Talmud Torahs, Rabbi Muller and Rabbi Reisman, please rise as well. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the people who truly make a difference in this world, one soul at a time. And Margaret and I owe them our eternal thanks because they are the true heroes of our world, men and women who make a difference every single day. In just a few days, we'll be celebrating the holiday of Pesach, and when we review the story as presented in the Torah in Parashat Bo, as Moses is about to free the Jews and they're about to leave for the land of Israel, after 210 years of exile, amidst all of the signs, the wonders, and the miracles, what did Moses speak to the Jewish people about? Moses didn't talk to them about liberty. He didn't talk to them about the land flowing with milk and honey, and he didn't even talk to them about what Nelson Mandela called the long walk to freedom. Rather, 3 times, he talks to them about children and our duty to educate our children in the future. Vayaki omru elechem bnechem, vaya ki yishalcha bincha machar, v'higaret el avimcha. He describes 3 of the 4 sons we'll read about in the Haggadah. What on earth was Moses doing talking about education? Talking about education when people want to go to freedom. And the answer is simple. That to defend a people, you need an army. But to defend a civilization, you need education. And that's why the Jews became people whose citadels are schools, whose heroes are teachers, and whose passion is learning and study and the life of the mind. In fact, it's remarkable if you think about it. The Mesopotamians built ziggurats, the Egyptians built pyramids, the Greeks built the Parthenon, the Romans built the Colosseum, and we built schools. And that's why those great civilizations have been consigned to history. And the Jewish people has survived because we built schools. And 75 years ago, a group of inspired men and women led by Rabbi Menachem B. Sachs of blessed memory, built the Academy, a school that has prepared young men and women to engage, to become engaged Jewish leaders, a school that thrives on Torah and is proud of its place as a religious Zionist, modern Orthodox school. 75 years ago, they had a dream. And today, we live their dreams each and every day. We live their dreams and we share their dreams. But we need your help. to continue the dream. We need your funds, we need your friends, and we need your freshmen. We need your funds to complete our scholarship campaign because 65% of our families receive scholarships, this year totaling more than $2 million. And while this dinner has broken all records, raising over $1,070,000, still need to raise $160,000 more to make sure that every child, every single child, will have a part in this dream. And we need your friendship to be our ambassadors, to spread the word so that everyone will hear of the great accomplishments of our school. And we need your freshmen, your children and your grandchildren to become part of the Academy family, to help us shape the future and one day soon to become the leaders of that future. For 75 years, the Academy is the place that so many of us have called home, whether it's here on Central Park or on Pratt, Melrose, Wilcox, or Douglas Boulevard. The Ida Crown Jewish Academy is home to a dream and home to the future as we inspire B'nai and B'not Torah to thrive in the modern world. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this dream. And finally, to Margaret, no one ever said it better than Rabbi Akiva, who when speaking to his students said, Shali v'shalachem, Shalahi, that everything I have achieved and everything you have achieved is because of her. Margaret, were it not for your love, your commitment, and your understanding, I could never have been part of this sacred venture. You are the one who keeps me focused on what is truly important in life, and you shaped our family and our future. Tonight may be about us, but my life is about you. May we continue to work hard and enjoy the fruits of our labor at 120 Shana together. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for supporting our school. And thank you for sharing this very special evening with Margaret and me.
And now what we've all been waiting for, the raffle. Suspense. Drum roll. Julie and George Lennon. I don't know how that happened. Amy Kesar. Mazel tov again to the entire Matanky and Nomic families. Lenny and Margaret, you are two extraordinary individuals and one amazing couple. And I know I'm safe to say, on behalf of everyone here tonight, we thank you for what you have done in our community and will continue to do on May of Esri. Amen. So thank you all for joining us here tonight. Rabbi Matanky's son Yitzi will now lead us in the benching, followed by a delicious dessert reception in the Math Science Commons. There will also be a Myra Minyan in the Beit Midrash. Thank you.